What's up, y'all? It's your girl Dupre, and I'm back with another video. So I know I've been gone for a long time. A lot of things have happened, a lot of real deep things, along with just like some nonsense. And I will be posting a get ready with me, chit chatty get ready with me later on in my channel to explain what's been going on with me, to explain why I've been gone for like 3 months from YouTube. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today because you guys don't have my personal Facebook information. You guys, because I like to keep my Facebook personal. But part of the reason why I haven't been online is because I was having somebody stay with me, and I do have this anxiety about like just speaking to a camera when somebody's like in the house, because I just feel like it just makes me feel weird, something for me. And when that person left, we did not split amicably, and I put him on blast on my Facebook, and a lot of my Facebook friends wanted me to make like a tell-all with showing receipts and screenshots. So I should scoot over. Well, if I'm gonna show a screenshot, I'll kind of like scoot over. I've never actually like done a video like this, like a spill the tea drama tell-all situation. If I can figure out the editing software to put the screenshots on here, I will, and they will be shown for proof or what have you. Not that like a lot of YouTubers, or not YouTubers, not like a lot of you guys really care about the actual ins and outs and word for word, but the people who are probably clicking on this link from my Facebook do. So to start off this story, I just got done working at a job. I was there for 3 months, and it's literally the worst job for my mentality I've ever worked. Like, it made me, I found myself changing who I was as a person at work. I found myself being real negative and slipping back into a negative space mentally, and it was a really bad place for me because the job culture and what was enabled there was very bad. The people that were there, it was very much like a Mean Girls high school setup situation, and I graduated high school in 2012, so I'm not trying to go back 10 years. And I was a manager there. It was a restaurant. It was a wing restaurant. I'm not going to say the name because of legalities and whatever, because I have been threatened, and we will get into that later on in this video. But this is the backstory that you guys need to know. So I started a job as an assistant manager at a popular wing restaurant. So when you start the job, you're supposed to go to training out of town. I think it's 4 weeks, right? But because of COVID and everybody being low staffed, the place, sorry if you guys hear ruckusing, my rabbits are playing around. But the place that I was supposed to go train at was low staffed, and I was basically told by my superiors that if I went to this place, I would basically not be training and just be like a worker because they needed people. So I ended up training at the actual store here in my town, well, sort of my town, instead of going out. So when you train for 4 weeks as a manager, you train 2 weeks in the kitchen because it's the heart of house, and you're supposed to know the ins and outs, and then you do like 1 week training as like with the servers and the bartenders and then like the manager. But basically you need to learn the kitchen, because if somebody calls off in the kitchen or whatever, normally the kitchen needs more help than anybody else. And you would know this if you worked in a restaurant before. It's just how it goes. So me having a kitchen background and being used to like being in the kitchen, I was fine with this, obviously. And I started my first 2 weeks in the kitchen. While I was in the kitchen, I obviously established relationships with the cooks there. The ins and outs, which is one of the reasons, which was the first struggle, because it was basically 95% male dominated, and I couldn't get anybody to even give me eye contact for the life of me. It was very disrespectful and unwelcoming experience, especially starting in the kitchen. So there's that. But with me being who I am, I don't know if you guys are aware, you should be aware if you're on my channel, I am black. Well, I'm at least half black, but I really feel more comfortable and identify more with just like Black people because I was raised on the south side of Chicago, and those are just the people and the attitudes and like the humor that connect with me and that I connect with. So in the kitchen, there was only about 3 or 4 Black people, and they were, you know, men. And I gravitated towards them for conversation, for bonding, for guidance and things like that. While I was in the kitchen, I met somebody who had started a couple weeks prior to me. I'm not going to say his name here. We'll just call him C. So I met C. C seemed to be like a really nice gentleman. He was good looking. He was fit. He had just got out of prison for 13 years. And dreadlocks, and it was kind of like my type of guy that I go for, that I shouldn't go for, but that I go for. And I'm a flirt. Everybody that I know knows that I flirt. I flirt with everyone. So I flirted with him. And they explain to you when you get hired that personal relationships with entry-level employees is banned. I'm pretty sure it's subject to termination, meaning I can't fraternize with employees, can't be friends with them, can't go out with them, can't date them, can't live with them, and things like this. So as these 2 weeks are happening, training in the kitchen, I'm talking to C. He's enlightening me of his situation. Literally just got out of prison, and I think it was in September. And this was October at the time. I started like the week of Halloween. So this is October at the time. So literally had just got out a month prior. He was living with this girl, this woman. And it had seemed like, from what I had grasped and what he was giving me, that it was a hostile situation. She would try to force him to get intimate. She would try to force him in a relationship because he was living with her. And it just didn't seem like a positive place. But if you're somebody who has nowhere to go, you have no choice but to put up with the conditions you're in until you can change those conditions. And it seemed like that was the sort of trail he was going on, where he was like, I can't go anywhere, so I'm gonna put up with this until I can. They were very toxic. They argued all the time. I heard him argue on the phone all the time. He would tell me about arguments all the time. And we got closer and we flirted, and I also get closer to other employees. So I'm having conversations with servers and cashiers. So while I was also there, I became acquaintances with a girl that we're gonna call her Caddy for legal purposes. Call her Caddy, okay? So me and this girl Caddy are talking, and I'm like, girl, C is so fine. Like, he is just a man. You know what I mean? Like those just muscular, I mean, he's not the most muscular guy in the world, but just like that slim fit sort of situation. And she's like, yes, he is, like, woo woo woo. We get to talking about him. I said, okay, well, listen, I'm gonna hit it first and then I'm gonna let you know how it is, and then if you want to hit it after me, we could be Eskimo sisters. And I'm not sure if you guys know what Eskimo sisters are, and you know, not the actual definition. If you could look it up, it's basically 2 girls who slept with the same guy. Like, we're Eskimo sisters. I don't know where it came from. It's a term that I've been exposed to, and it's a term that I use in situations like that. And I was saying it as a half of a joke, but half true. He was a fine man, and aside from the fact that I might lose my job if somebody new, I would hook up with him if given a chance. Like, that's just me being honest. So, you know, over time, me and C exchanged phone numbers. I would consider him a close work acquaintance, where it's like him, I could be able to tell him things and it not spread around. Like, this job, maybe I'll do a separate story time, because I don't want to get too far off track here of how literally that was the most terrible place I've ever worked at in my entire life. And I've worked at a lot of places, believe me. You can ask anybody. Like, my W-2s be on average 5 to 6 a year, because I don't put up with a lot, which is why I only worked at this place about 3 months. If I feel like it's not gonna work out for me, I just instantly switch. I'm not gonna set myself up for failure. My mental health comes first. But he was somebody who you could talk to, and you wouldn't have to worry about him gossiping with servers. You know how men are, they're not really gossipers. So you won't have to worry about it getting out. So we get close over time, we're texting, whatever. One day I'm closing, I'm still a manager in training. So another manager is showing me how to close, and I'm sitting there with her in the office, and she's showing me the ins and outs of steps we need to take to close down the store correctly. And C was still hanging around the store, and C had got so the lady he lived with had a daughter who had a boyfriend who was also working at the restaurant. And so the woman had came, the girl that he was living with had came and picked them both up. And I saw that his friend was gone that he lived with, his roommate was gone, and he was still here. So I don't know what happened. He had texted me, but I didn't see my phone until afterwards because, like I said, I was trying to get that training in with the manager. So he texted me, and I'll put the screenshot up if I can, you know, figure out how to do it. I'll put it up right here. But it said, I think it was like, can I come to your house, or can I sleep at your house tonight? But I didn't see the text message, and you know, he was still hanging around. And normally when you close, it's like the manager's the last person there. You know what I mean? Like, we can't do certain things until everybody's clocked out, and then it takes us a minute to do those certain things. So since I guess I didn't see the text message and he was sitting there, he had said something like, do you mind if I sleep at your house? They said it in front of another manager. Like, do you mind if I can sleep at your house? Now, I knew that you couldn't have romantic connections with people. And at the time when he said that, my mind didn't automatically go to like hooking up or anything. It went to, this is somebody that I care about. This is somebody who has something going for them. And if they have no place to stay and it's cold outside, I'm going to let them come stay with me. This is like November at this time. I believe it was like November 21st. Again, if there's a date in the screenshot, it'll be here. So that night, I closed up with the manager. He went with me in my car, and he did come back home with me, and he was going to be sleeping on the couch. That's what we had established. I don't know if you guys have seen my clean with me's, but I have a pretty large sectional that can easily fit 3 people sleeping on there. So I was like, that's fine. You can sleep on my couch. You know, it is what it is. So we get home, we're drinking, we're smoking. You know, he's under duress because this woman kicked him out of this car. I guess what happened was they got into an argument, pulling off, and he got out the car. And like, she still had his stuff, and she was texting him, and she was harassing him, and he was stressed. So I'm like, let's blow off some steam, let's drink, let's smoke, let's hang out. And through that intermix, we did end up hooking up that first night. And he asked me, did I mind if he stayed with me just for a little while until he got his, you know, his stuff together. And I told him that that was fine. I told him that he couldn't get mail at my house. I told him that nobody at work could know because I could lose my job. And I was completely okay with letting somebody stay at my house for a little while. I told him, you can't stay here for 6 months, but you can stay here for a little bit. So we're hanging out. He's at my house. Everything's cool. We end up hooking up about 3 more times in the span of like a week. And I'm thinking I have a good little living situation. You know, he doesn't sleep in the bed with me. Well, sometimes he did, but I like to cuddle with my dog. He was on the couch. He was taking out the trash. It was like hanging out with a friend. It was like having a friend with benefits living with you. Like, we would hang out. We would talk shit. We would watch movies. We would smoke. We would drink. We would hook up. We would go to sleep. Like, it was completely fine. I'm not a relationship kind of person. He made it abundantly clear he wasn't looking for a relationship. I made it abundantly clear he was not somebody I was looking to be in a relationship with. And we had a mutual understanding. So Thanksgiving rolls around. He brings another girl to my house. And from Chicago. He went to go meet his people in Chicago. This girl drove him home. He said, can she sleep here? I said, yeah. We're going to call her Yasmin. So Yasmin comes over Thanksgiving. He hooks up with her. I told him and I told him this all the time. And he was, because I don't mind you. I'm not going to tell you not to hook up with anybody else. I mean, it's kind of a little disrespectful to be screwing somebody on my couch. But I'm a free thinker. I'm a free spirit, as he would define me. So I said, whatever, put a towel down. I don't want to be sitting in no juice. You know what I mean? Put it down and do what you're going to do. So this girl came through. He hooked up with her. The next day she left, whatever it was. And, you know, we had a fun time. So days go by. We're still in November. It's the end of November now. Days go by and he's telling me that he's been talking to this girl, Caddy. That him and Caddy have been talking over the phone and texting, and that he kind of likes her and they've been talking and whatever. Now I tell him it's not a good idea to date somebody you work with. And this is true. And you know, he wasn't in a relationship yet. I told him he shouldn't be in a relationship. That you have no car, you have no house, you just got out of prison. Maybe you should put your energy into getting a license, getting a car, getting a place, getting off my couch. Like, maybe you should do those things. But he didn't listen to me, and he decided to pursue a relationship with this girl, Caddy. Now at work, I told only 2 people what happened between me and C. I told one girl who I was closer with, that he had lived with me and that we had hooked up. And then I had told Caddy because I wanted to let her know the plan was set in motion. You know, I told you I was going to hit him first and that you could hit him after me. And I hit him first, and so now it's your turn. Clearly you're talking to him, so now it's your turn. And I told her that he was living with me because it was like a week or 2 weeks of him lying, of them sitting outside my house for hours. And like, I always had to park in the back whenever he got rides home in case somebody saw my car, because people at work know what my car looks like. So one day we're sitting down at the bar at my job. We're drinking, we're hanging out. He's talking about this girl, Caddy. And I'm telling him how it's not a good idea to date her. You know, hook up with her, hang out with her, talk to her, canoodle with her, do whatever you need to do. And mind you, this guy is 23. This guy is 33. I'm 27. This girl is 23. Okay, he's 10 years older than this girl. So he's talking to her, and he's sitting there and he's saying, we were supposed to hang out after work. My plans that got canceled. Originally I had plans. They got canceled. So I was like, you want to go home and like turn up? And like, he's like, yeah, okay, cool. So we're having this conversation about this girl, and he goes, well, if it's going to be a problem me being with her while I'm living with you, then just say the words and I won't pursue anything. I said, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. All I can do is give you advice. I don't care romantically if you hang out, if you date her. Like, just know that we're not going to hook up when you do that. And just know that I'm still going to walk around this house without a bra on and naked or whatever I want to do, because this is my house and you don't pay any bills. And he's like, okay, well, if it's going to be a problem, I won't do it. I said, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And then in that same breath of him basically saying he would choose our friendship over a relationship with her, he leaves and cancels our plans because she's outside and he's in the car with her. Cool. So I go home, I close up, I go home. And he's like, I told her, when I told her that he was living with me, when I told her that we had hooked up, I said, let him tell you. I said, if he tells you that he's living with me, it means that he trusts you. And it means that you guys are gonna like be good. You know what I mean? She didn't give him that opportunity. As soon as they got here, he said, like, could she come up? So let's just skip. They get into a relationship, okay? They start dating. It's the most toxic relationship I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Every day this man is arguing with her on the phone in my house. Whenever they would come over, I would hang out with them because he slept on my couch, right? So I'm not gonna exclude myself to my bedroom all the time because you're on my couch and your girlfriend is here. They would get into fights. He would claim that she acts brand new around me because I'm somebody who likes to talk shit. Like, I'll be like, yo, big head ass, you know? And that's how I am with him, whether there's an audience or whether there's not an audience. And he got emotional because she would laugh, and apparently that's her acting brand new. I think what it was is the dynamic was something those two couldn't handle. And so it turned into this distrust. It turned into petty arguments. Whenever I would talk to him, if he was on the phone with her, she would be mad because he was talking to me, which makes sense. But at the same time, this is my house. So if you don't want me to talk to you while you're on the phone, go on my balcony, go outside, go in the hallway, go for a walk, go in the bathroom, do whatever you want to do. But if I'm sitting here watching TV in the living room and I was talking to you and your girlfriend decides to call, I'm going to continue doing what I was doing. So they get into fights or toxic, whatever. I'm telling him, whatever. So he's here at my house 3 months. In the 3 months he was here, this man has only helped me with $245. He paid an internet bill for $145, and he paid half of an electricity bill that was $100. Now, mind you, me living by myself, my electricity bill is very low. I'm somebody who loves natural light. I'm using natural light right now. I don't really have lights on. The only thing I really do is like TV, and then I work 50 hours a week, so I'm hardly home. Obviously, when you have somebody else here, it's gonna go up. But my problem was he would be here all the time, and then his girlfriend would be here. So it's like, instead of them having both off days and going out, they're both on my couch watching my TV, and I'm coming home to both of them sleeping on my couch. The problem I had with him is he never respected my boundaries. He wanted me to respect not talking shit to him in front of her because it made him feel some type of way, but never respect the fact that I told him that you need to ask when she's coming over, that you need to ask when she's spending the night, and that you need to clean up after yourselves. Sometimes he did, but sometimes he didn't, and it was a common occurrence and a common problem for us in my household. So the end of January, they're still together. This rumor goes around work, and that me and him had hooked up or whatever, right? So I'm thinking either Caddy told everybody, which why would you? Because that's embarrassing. Your boyfriend, you're gonna tell everybody that your boyfriend like screwed his boss. You know what I mean? Like, okay, girl, if that was you, Caddy, then okay, honey. But I thought maybe it was this other girl, right? Because that makes more sense. Now thinking down the line to what I'm gonna tell you later on, it makes more sense that it was Caddy, because it just makes more sense. But we'll get into that later. Now, even though C is in a relationship with this girl, I still make passes at him because I'm a flirty person, you know? Especially when I'm drinking, especially when I'm doing other things, I'm just gonna be a flirty person. So I not messaged him. So I'm talking to him we're at home, you know, and I'm like talking about hooking up, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna tell nobody. Me personally, here's the thing. If I respect your relationship, I'm not gonna do anything. But the fact that the relationship is so toxic, and I don't care, like, I'm single and you guys can take it however you want. I don't care. Like, I've slept with people who have girlfriends. I've slept with married men. I really don't care as long as you keep it real with me. If I get a call or a text message from a girlfriend or a wife that I wasn't aware about, I will show them screenshots. I will tell them the truth because it wasn't disclosed to me the situation that this man was in. However, if the situation is presented to me in an honest way, it is then my choice to decide if I want to hook up with this person or not. So I made passes at him, and he had turned it down for a while. He never asked me to stop. You asked me to stop talking shit about you, but you never asked me to stop hitting on you. So he never asked me to stop. So one night I made a pass at him, and he was like, no. No, he was like, come on, let's go. And I was like, no, like what? Because it was always our banter for me to hook up, for me to like throw a pass at him, and for him to like turn me down. Like, oh, I love Caddy, and I don't want me cheating to be the reason why we break up, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, respect it, respect the man. Cool. So one night I made a pass at him, and he turned me down, and I went to sleep. And he woke me up because he wanted to have sex. He climbed in my bed, he woke me up, he wanted to hook up, and we did hook up. And that was that. And then about a week later, I said, hey, are you trying to do part 2? And once again, he had turned me down, and then I fell asleep, and then hours later, he woke me up and asked to hook up, and we did. So we hooked up 2 times after he was in a relationship with this girl. And mind you, they only been dating, he's not even living in my house. He lived in my house 3 months. They started dating like 2 weeks after he started living here. So in the span of like 2.5 months, they're saying, I love you. This girl put her name on the lease for him to move in. She's driving him everywhere. He never got a car while he was here. So I'm imagining that now she's taking care of their chauffeuring part of driving C around. And this is only in the span of like 2.5 months. This just goes to show you how they moved faster than a lesbian couple. It's crazy. So he told me that, you know, between the help of his mom and her, because he can't do anything, obviously, because he's a piece of trash. Between his mom and her, they put their name on an apartment. His mom paid for his down payment, and he was going to be moving out February 1st. I'm like, cool, you have a plan, that's fine. I was like, just have a conversation with Caddy and let her know that even though you're not living with me, like, we're still going to continue this relationship. Like I gave you a place to stay when you had nothing. I helped you out when you had nothing. And I don't expect for you to move out and then discontinue a relationship with me. That we're going to see each other at work still, and that you have your own place. I want to come over, and you can come over to my place, and I don't want it to be an issue. And he made it seem like it would be a problem, which I find super hypocritical, because your whole girlfriend was in my house several times. You guys never clean up after yourself, left trash on my coffee table, would be sleeping on a couch. And I'm sorry, it just says something about somebody's character. Now, I know I'll sleep with married men or men in relationships relationships, but I'll never sleep with a man who's staying on the couch of somebody else's home. And you guys have seen my clean with me's, so you know how dirty my house gets, and it was in that dirty state. It still is in that dirty state. So you hooked up with a guy several times in a female's dirty home on the couch. I might have low standards when it comes to men or just hookups, but I don't think I've ever hooked up with a guy who was living off of somebody else, who wasn't paying bills, who had nothing to show for himself, inside of somebody's dirty home on their couch. Like, ew, girl. But you know what? You do you, honey. You do you. But I just think it says something about your character, okay? So the last week, you know, he's telling me about the situation. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm at work, I'm doing my thing, and at work there seems to be this common occurrence because the GM had spoiled the cooks in the kitchen to the point where like there'd be 6 tickets in the kitchen and there'd be like 4 workers, and the GM would be back there helping them. So these kitchen people think they need help when they don't need help. So it was a slow day. Mondays and Wednesdays are slow days, so I can't remember if it was a Monday or a Wednesday, but it was a slow day. And I let one cook go home. There's only 2 cooks, so we were really slow. It was like in the morning. And I told the other cook, hey, if you get a lot of tickets and you can't handle it, whatever, come back and let me know, because I was working on the schedule for the cashiers for the following week. So I think it was like Monday. I just wanted to get a head start on the schedule. So somebody comes back and is like, hey, they need help back there. I go back there, I'm helping the guy out. I don't know what's what, you know, you just jump into the situation. And this one guy who is an alcoholic and has stolen liquor from our job and has been written up several times, but apparently still works there because, you know, white male in America, starts like yelling and cussing at me because another server, so they both had the same appetizer, but they had different sauce. So the one server grabbed the one with the sauce that was for his table, and he was still waiting on the appetizer and was trying to figure out why it was taking so long, but he wasn't saying it in a nice way because he's an asshole, and he's always been an asshole, and I've seen him yell and talk down to the kitchen several times. So I told him, you're not gonna like speak to me any type of way. He started cussing at me, told me to use my brain, okay, and was doing something else. So I told him, you're acting like an asshole, which he was, and I wrote him up. He decided he wasn't going to sign the write-up, which it doesn't matter. It goes in your file either way. So I put in the file. I told the other 2 managers what happened, and they agreed with me that he was in the wrong and that he is an asshole. Do you hear that? They all agreed that you're an asshole and a piece of shit. And that was that. At least I thought. 2 days later, my boss's boss, so the district manager, not the general manager, and so my boss's boss and my boss sat down with me, not in the office as a confidential, but in the middle of the dining room when we're super busy with all the servers who like to spread rumors and be in your business, who decided they don't like me because they don't like anybody that's new. I was told to give it 4 months and then I'd be welcomed in. So they wrote me up because I called him an asshole, and said that he supported me writing him up and that his actions weren't right, but that my actions weren't right either. And I can understand that. You're not supposed to talk down to an employee, but he's lucky that's all he got. And for you to say that I was in the right and then write me up in front of everybody, it just goes to show the toxic job culture that I was talking about before. So the end of January comes, and my car got repoed. Maybe it was because my electricity bill had tripled since he moved in because I was taking care of him and his girlfriend and he wasn't helping me pay. So maybe it was because I didn't get any help. Maybe if I had some help, I'd be able to pay my bills. But it's very hard when you're by yourself and trying to make ends meet. So my car got repoed. So I went outside, and I was supposed to work that day. I was supposed to close, and he was supposed to work. We were supposed to go to work together. We started around the same time. And I told him, hey, like, my car got repoed. You have to find your own way to work, like, because I can't take you. I asked him if he had anybody who could help me borrow some money because I had half of it. I just needed the other half. And without even trying to make a phone call, he said no. Now, the reason why this pissed me off is because I heard this man on the phone several times borrowing $500, $600. He claims that his mom has all this money and that he has this $15,000 trust, and his mom put $900 down for this deposit for his apartment. But when it came to me, a person who was letting him stay in my house for free, a person who was driving him to work, I was even letting him use my car, like letting him drive my car when I'm at home, because I don't like driving in the snow and stuff. He didn't even try to attempt to help me at all. As a matter of fact, I heard him hee-heeing and ha-haing on the phone with his girlfriend about 20 minutes after this happened. So my car gets repoed on the I'm just gonna call it the 25th. My car gets repoed on January 25th, right? And they told me I had until the 3rd of February to pay it all off. So he ends up moving out on like the 28th or something, or the 30th or something. He texted me while I was gone and said, and like these days when my car got repoed, he was hardly at home and hardly talked to me at all. Like at all. Like we hardly had a conversation or relationship at all. So he tells me, hey, I was able to move out sooner, and he like had grabbed all his stuff while he was gone. It wasn't a lot of stuff, because even though he got paid a lot of money, he never bought anything. This man owned one t-shirt outside of work clothes, had a garbage bag full of clothes, and like that's all he had. So he took his stuff, he left, and I told him to make sure he brought my key back. So I think it was the next day. Yeah, it was literally the next day, because it wasn't even 24 hours before he left. And now I'm going to show you a screenshot where he literally, I'm going to read it. Matter of fact, let me go to the screenshot right now. Okay, so he was able to move out on the 30th. So January 30th, he texts me and says, I can move in tonight, so I got my things and I have your key. Thank you so much. I won't forget you for what you did for me. Thank you. Now, whole time he's staying here, this man is telling me how grateful he is, how grateful his mom is, that I took him in, how he's gonna buy me a Christmas present, but he never did, how he was gonna help me and have my back, but he never did, and all of these things. So that's literally January 30th. I said, okay, just drop my key off soon. And then I said, if I'm short in paying for this car, do you think you can help me? I can pay you back, of course. I just don't know how much my check will be since I couldn't get to work. I missed the last 3 days of work on my paycheck because I couldn't get to work, because he only got rides for himself because he's selfish. He said, I don't know as of right now. Let me see after shit get paid. So what needs to get paid? You moved in already, so all your bills are paid, because you wouldn't be able to move in unless they were. And I've helped you for 3 months and only asked you for help in the amount of $245 in 3 months. My rent is $1,100. My internet bill is $145. My electricity bill, since he started living with me, had $300 as opposed to $100. And all this man ever helped me do was pay $245 worth of bills. So this is the 31st, the next day. So I got a message on my Facebook. What happened was that the reason why I was talking about this guy earlier that I had gotten into an argument with and had wrote up with, because I hadn't gone to work, right? My car got repoed, I didn't go to work. So I didn't tell anybody about my car situation because I hadn't seen anybody. The only person who knew my car got repoed was C, because he was living with me at the time. So this guy that I wrote up from work took it upon himself to find my personal Facebook, which I'm sure he didn't find it. I'm sure Caddy gave him my name, because it's not like it's just my legal name. My Facebook is like, it's a whole slew of things, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my name at all. It doesn't even resemble my name. So he probably found me because Caddy is my friend on Facebook, and she probably just told him what my Facebook name was. He messaged me and said, like, it must suck to lose your job after your car got repoed, which is crazy because I didn't lose my job. So what happened is, backstory is, I got offered a better position, a better raise somewhere else in a more positive environment, and I was going to give my 2 weeks, and my last day working was going to be this Friday the 11th. Since my car got repoed, I just decided not to go to work because I hated going there. And I decided that I would take the financial hit and choose my mental health over working at that place. So I decided I was just going to take, after my car got repoed, I decided I'm just going to take this little hiatus, organize my house, go over paperwork for my new job, and call it a day. So technically what I did was called job abandonment, right? I lied to them. I did tell them I got into a car accident to try to buy me some time to try to figure out if I wanted to go to work, because I did need the money, obviously, because my car got repoed, right? So I told him I got into a car accident. So it bought me like 2 days. On the third days, I decided, fuck it. I just no call, no showed. And I got a text my district manager asking me to turn in my keys since I decided, and I'll put the screenshot, since I decided to no longer work there. Me. Wasn't really fired, job abandonment. Two different things. Not that it really matters. Well, it matters when it comes to an unemployment company. Because if I were to go right now and say, hey, I got fired, they would debunk it and say I quit. So didn't lose my job. But the part that I was upset about is the part that he knew that my car was repossessed. Why does somebody that I don't talk to, that I don't necessarily care for, know my personal business? So I called C and asked him if he had told anybody about my car situation. He was at work. So hang on, let me see if I can pull up the screenshot. So I texted him and I said, so you told someone about my car? And he didn't say anything, so I'm like, let me just call him. So I called him and I'm like, dude, I was like, did you tell anybody at work about my car? And he said, no. And I said, then how does, you know, this guy know about it? Because I don't mess with him. I was like, did you tell Caddy? He was like, yeah. I said, why would you tell Caddy my personal business? First of all, that girl is, I told him already that the way she moves is funny. Because she's a fake, passive-aggressive bitch. And that's just how these Indiana people are sometimes. They can't deal with real issues. I'm a communicator. I'm an issue resolver. But some people, they don't want to deal with the issue head on. She never wanted to say she had a problem with me because obviously she's in my house. And it was always an issue. So I was like, why would you tell her about it? Why would you tell her about my personal business? I said, I told you she doesn't like me. She went and told this guy. He found me on Facebook and messaged me about it. Like, do you not understand how crazy this is? And he blew me off, said he was at work, said he wasn't going to argue with me, was looking for the dude and was like, hey, did he make a Facebook post? I was like, no, you're not listening to me. He didn't make a Facebook post. He personally messaged me. He hung up on me. I texted him, I said, I knew you would never be there for me. You came here and used me. I said, since you want to share businesses, I shared yours. Have a great day. Because what happened was, after that, and he's like talking about something about get him, go talk to him. I said, I'm not going to talk to him. Don't get him. He let the guy that I don't like use his phone and call me. So when I answered thinking that it was C calling me back, it was this guy. So I hung up and I was like, okay, since you want to share businesses, I'm going to share yours. So I made a Facebook post. I'll put it here. Describing that this man, because I had friends on my Facebook that I worked with that didn't know, or maybe they knew the rumors, but it wasn't confirmed between me and him. Because even the district man, so what happened was the rumor went around. The general manager asked him about it, never asked me. She asked him about it four separate times. And he denied it all the time. And then somehow the district manager knew and asked him. Nobody ever asked me. The district manager knew and asked him, and he denied it also. So these higher ups basically knew, right? This is a situation that happened to them before, which is why they were like asking about it. So I knew that there were some friends on Facebook that we both knew because we both worked with them. So I put a picture of him in my bed with my dog, and stated the facts. Stated that he lived with me for 3 months, that we hooked up several times, that he cheated on his girlfriend with me twice, and that he was basically, you know, a piece of trash and had nothing to offer anybody. This blew up, which is why I'm making this video, and I'm sorry it's so long, but this blew up, right? It blew up, and I told his girlfriend too. I sent her a message on Facebook. If I can figure out how to black out like names and stuff, I will. According to this, she never looked at it. It looks like she doesn't open my things at all. But I messaged her and I said, just so you know, C cheated on you with me twice. I said, since you want to tell people my business who I don't like, he cheated on you like 2 days before he moved out and a week before that. That day he said he was masturbating. On the phone with you, he hung up, he woke me up, and he had sex with me. Have fun with your toxic relationship. I'm done with both of you. And I showed her the photo of him with my dog in my bed. So this blew up, and his girlfriend made fake profiles. One as a Carla Force and one as a Dylan Strong or Dylan Long, trying to post comments on this Facebook saying that I was fired, saying that my car got repossessed, telling me to wear my real hair, because that's what white people have to say in defense to black people. Even though I've worn my real hair to work several times and I'm not ashamed of it, it's just very hard to wake up in the morning and have to deal with a lopsided fro as opposed to putting on a wig and walking out the door, which you don't know because you're Caucasian and you didn't decide to educate yourself and what it's like to be. I was the only black female working there, so let's just paint that, okay? I was the only, and I'm not even fully black. I was the only black female that worked at that place. So after this, mind you, Cecil had my key to my apartment. I got my locks changed same day because I was like, this guy's been in prison. He has no car, but I'm pretty sure his 23-year-old petty girlfriend has no issue driving up here. She chauffeurs him around anyways. Driving him up here, and you know, he has a key to my house. He knows what I have in my house. I don't want to come home to any surprises. So I got my locks changed. Now mind you, I told you how he denied living with me and hooking up with me to all the bosses. And I didn't bring anybody else into the mix. I didn't involve anybody else into the mix, especially managers. I'm not friends with a lot of people there. I told like 2 people who I'm friends with the real truth when I left. So I get a message from my ex-boss, the GM that was there, that said, I have your house key. I was like, well, I changed my locks. So she was like, so should I toss it out? I was like, yeah. And she was like, hurt. Now, mind you, she tried to add me on Snapchat. I don't know why, because this woman was mean to me also. There was one day where we were super busy and she was such a bitch. And that was the day that I decided I was going to start looking for jobs. And that was 2 days later, I got this opportunity. So thanks to you, hun, for setting that in motion. Because I was on the fence and she made me... Bloop. I was here. Bloop. So thank you, hon. That's involving other people. Okay. So mind you, these days go on. People are commenting on here, not on my posts, not people I work with, just friends getting the tea, whatever. I deleted the fake profile comments, you know what I mean? And then I made like other statuses, like not the girlfriend making fake Facebook posts. Now mind you, after I told Caddy about her boyfriend and after I told Dee how much of a piece of trash he was, they were both blocked and deleted. This is like 3 days later, okay? Don't talk to anybody that's been at that job. 3 days later, I get a text message from a coworker who was also an assistant manager. It was only me and her. We were the only assistant managers there because they were really low staffed, right? So she sends me a text message. Let me just go to that as well. She goes, this is Friday. Like, so today is, when I'm filming this, Tuesday. This was legit like Friday. Can you please stop harassing my employees? What's done is done, and you need to stop bringing people who are uninvolved in the situation into it. It's super unprofessional, and I don't want to have to bring this to higher ups for intervention. I'm not sure what higher ups she's referring to since I no longer work there. I don't know if she's talking about police, because what are you going to do? Call the police and say, oh my God, this employee made a Facebook post. Like, whatever. So I responded back to her. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't spoken to anyone who works at that place in days. I even have deleted some of them from my Facebook, which I have, because one of the girls was my Facebook friend who I know for a fact is really like best friends with that Caddy girl. So I deleted her because I'm like, she doesn't need to see my, you know what I mean? Like, just delete her, like just to save headaches. I deleted the other manager that used to work there that got transferred somewhere else so he wouldn't know the business. So I deleted a couple people. So I said I even deleted some of them from my Facebook and blocked certain people's numbers, which I will have to add you to the list. Your GM texting me that she has my apartment keys and trying to add me on Snapchat is a little sus though. Leave me alone, you and everyone who works there. Thanks. And I didn't even tell you this, but I got a message, which I'm pretty sure is from Caddy, because I didn't have her number, I only had her Facebook, that said like, are you crazy? You must need my medication, which is like, so then are you calling yourself crazy and you're on crazy medication? I'll show you guys the screenshot right here if I can think of it, but like, are you calling me crazy then? Like, but you're crazy because you're on crazy medication. But she's like, you must be crazy. Do you need my medication or whatever she said? I didn't respond back. I just instantly marked the phone number as spam. Because there's no need to, you know, go back. And I did text C the few days when his girlfriend made those fake profile pics. I was like, not your girlfriend making fake profile pics. Like, come on. So those were the only times I spoke to anybody. So that Friday, it had been like 2 to 4 days, I'd say, that I've even spoken to anybody. Like, I told the one girl that was my friend who texted, because I was telling her, like, I'm going through some things, but I can't tell you, because if I tell you and somebody finds out, I'll get fired. But I told her that I was starting a new job, and I told her once I stopped working there that I would tell her the tea. So I stopped working there, and I told her the tea. And that was the only person who was involved who wasn't in the mix. So I don't know what she's talking about. She's blocked, along with everybody else. That was the worst place I've ever worked at. And I told that man when he first came here not to screw me over, because I always help people and I get screwed over. And then I had a feeling that he was going to do that. And he tried to reassure me on several different occasions that he was different. And you're not, honey. You're the exact same. So that's my truth. That's what happened between me and one of my employees when I worked at a job. Is it the best, brightest decision I've ever made in my entire life? No. Am I happy the truth is out there? Yes. Are they still together after this? Probably. I mean, Shorty put her name on an apartment building for him. Like, she stuck with him for at least 12 months. And they strike me as the kind of people that he is going to be able to do whatever he wants to her. That's how she strikes me. So I wish them nothing but the best, because I know that their relationship is going to continue its toxicity until it runs its course. And I'm going to be doing me. I started a new job on Saturday. That's way higher, a lot more money, a lot closer to my house, a way better positive working atmosphere, and I will get another car. I've lost jobs, cars, houses before, and I always build back up. It's not something to try to embarrass somebody about, going through financial hardship. And people who try to embarrass people through going through financial hardship, I mean, it's different going through financial hardship like me versus somebody who's literally mooching off of you and then decides to be a piece of shit. Like, obviously I'm sort of throwing shade at his financial hardships, but the choices he made are way different than the choices I made. And that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this super long video. Subscribe if you have not already, because I'm gonna have at least another story time about how terrible that job was, with more screenshots. So there's the tea, you guys. I slept with my employee and he cheated on his girlfriend with me multiple times, and everybody at that restaurant is still, I guess, marinating on it. And I was done with it, and I wasn't even gonna make this video. But honey, you, the other assistant manager, let's just call her Angie. Angie, honey, you're the one who inspired me and motivated me to make this video. If you had not texted me and stopped and accused me of doing something that I wasn't doing and threatened to go to the higher ups, whoever those are, I would have never done this. So shout out to you. Love the haters. They're the #1 supporters. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day or night or weekend. I hope you are enjoying the snow, because there's a lot of it over here in the Midwest. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.